The veterinary clinic was silent, except for the faint ticking of the wall clock. It was supposed to be just another late evening, but for Emily Carter, it was the longest and most agonizing of her life. She sat slumped in the corner of the exam room, her trembling hands running to the thick fur of her 6-month-old German Shepherd puppy, Max. Max's once bright eyes were now clouded with pain. His breathing was shallow, his body weak. Emily had rescued him as a tiny, abandoned pup, bottle-feeding him, nursing him through sleepless nights. Now, only months later, she was being told there was nothing more that could be done. "His organs are failing," said Dr. Harris, the veterinarian, his voice low and professional, though his eyes softened with pity. "He's suffering. The kindest option now is to let him go peacefully." The words hit Emily like a physical blow. Tears blurred her vision. She bent down, wrapping her arms tightly around Max. "I'm so sorry, baby," she whispered into his ear. "I love you so much." Max stirred weakly, then, to the shock of everyone in the room, lifted his frail head and pressed it firmly into Emily's chest. His paw reached up shakily and rested on her arm, as though he understood, as though he was hugging her goodbye. Emily sobbed harder, clutching him, ready to whisper her last goodbye. That's when Dr. Harris froze. The vet had been preparing the injection when something caught his eye. Max's heartbeat on the monitor. It wasn't irregular the way it had been all week. It was stronger. "Wait. Hold on," Dr. Harris said sharply, motioning for Emily to stop. He leaned in, stethoscope pressed against Max's chest. His brow furrowed, then lifted in disbelief. "This doesn't make sense." Emily blinked, wiping tears. "What? What is it?" "His heart rate, look." Dr. Harris turned the screen, so Emily could see. Just minutes earlier, the graph had been dipping dangerously, signaling collapse. Now, there was a sudden surge of strength, as if Max's body was fighting back. Emily gasped, holding Max tighter. "Does that mean he's not dying?" "Not exactly," Dr. Harris said cautiously, but his voice carried a new urgency. "I need to run another test. Something isn't adding up." The puppy was whisked away for scans and blood work, while Emily paced the waiting room, her heart pounding. Half an hour later, Dr. Harris returned, papers in hand, eyes wide with astonishment. "It's not organ failure," he said. "Max was poisoned." Emily's knees nearly buckled. "Poison?" The vet nodded grimly. "His symptoms mimicked end-stage illness. If we had gone through with euthanasia tonight, he would have died for the wrong reason. But this we can fight." Emily's shock gave way to anger. She lived on a quiet street in the suburbs. Who could have done this? Dr. Harris explained that the toxins were consistent with rat poison. Someone had deliberately put it where Max could find it. For the next 48 hours, Max remained in intensive care. Tubes, IVs, and machines surrounded him. Emily didn't leave his side. She slept on a chair by his kennel, her hand always within his reach. There were terrifying moments. His breathing faltered, his heart weakened again, but Max fought. Every time Emily whispered, "Stay with me," his eyes flickered open, refusing to let go. Finally, after days of uncertainty, Dr. Harris stepped in with a rare smile. "He's going to make it." Emily broke down in tears, hugging the recovering pup, who wagged his tail faintly for the first time in weeks. But the story didn't end there. A week later, police investigators visited Emily's home. They confirmed what Dr. Harris suspected. Someone in the neighborhood had been laying out poisoned food. They had already found other victims. Stray cats, even a neighbor's small dog. Whoever it was had meant for the animals to die quietly, without suspicion. But Max's strange recovery, and Dr. Harris's sharp eye, exposed the truth. The culprit turned out to be a disgruntled neighbor who hated dogs barking near his yard. He was arrested, and thanks to Max's case, several other pets in the area were saved. Weeks later, Max was strong enough to walk again. Emily brought him back to the clinic for a checkup. When Dr. Harris entered the exam room, Max trotted forward and leapt into his arms, tail wagging furiously. Everyone laughed through tears. Emily knelt down beside him, hugging her dog the way she thought she had for the last time weeks earlier. But this time, the hug wasn't goodbye. It was a promise. Max, she whispered, you weren't just saved, you saved so many others, too. The puppy barked softly, licking her cheek. His eyes, once clouded with pain, now glowed with life. And from that day on, Emily never doubted that her German shepherd wasn't just her pet. He was her miracle,